gonna catch me put up to my backside. Hey man, it feel good, man. What's up, Pat?
What's up? How we feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good on this cool morning, man. We got old Eric Green in the building. Came on over from the East Coast. He came over here to boast, though.
And we appreciate that. Before we get that, we got to pay some bills. We're live today, 239, Studio 239, all new Studio 239, coming together really nicely.
Yes, it
the
is.
The hottest podcast studio in all of Southwest Florida.
You say the hottest?
The hottest, the best, the most diverse, multi-talented. Yes, this is the winning team.
Preach on then, preacher.
Absolutely. I only promote stuff I believe in. So Studio 239. And also sponsored by, speaking of which, Becker Custom Builders, who helped put together Studio 239.
Big up to Becker.
Absolutely. Our guy, Blake Becker. Of course, Miss Lauren Maxwell, the Queen Bee, mortgage queen, not only of Southwest Florida, but really the country when it comes to mortgages, right?
Yeah, I seen her at the inauguration. We kicked it for a while, Lauren. We always chopping it up. So
absolutely, we love Lauren. We love Megan Noel, Ocean Glass Skin, one of our sponsors as well, getting their product into Walmart. So a big congratulations to them. Lee Corp Homes, family-owned company, 43 years they just celebrated being in business. Largest manufacturer home maker in all of Florida. So big shout out to Christopher Lee.
That's what's up.
Yeah, absolutely. Alda's Diner, where me and Tim had the pleasure of having breakfast the other day.
What did you eat when you was there?
Well, you're my brother, you're my boy, so I wasn't even in the mood for a big meal, but, this place called Alda's Diner, great place, by the way, and they name dishes after people in the community. Byron's got a dish, or DeSantis.
Man, I didn't ask you about all those people, man.
Well,
I'm talking mainly about me, man.
Well,
Larry Love got his own dish there,
he
man.
Does have
you
his
know
own
what I'm
dish.
saying?
So, without a doubt, I went to the Larry Love Country Fried Steak and Eggs. And I will say, being dead honest, it was really, really good. Eggs cooked perfect. I mean, if it's got Larry's name on it, I would not expect anything less.
What else? If I'm going to sign off on something, it's only the best, baby. You know how I do.
Yeah,
so
get yourself a Larry Love plate at Alda's Diner. Tell them that Politic and Gyro Larry Love sent you.
Yeah.
Shout out to Patrick Dearborn, one of our sponsors as well. And Salon Synergy, Eric Carter. Between Eric and Anita, they got over 30 years experience cutting hair. 10 stylists, give them a call, set up an appointment. And of course, Miss Tina Del Rosa. Tax season, who else would you rather go see than Tina? Open up the new office.
In Clawson, dog, in your hometown. She opened up a new one.
Yeah, she sure
Taxes
did.
and insurance. She been in that business for 20 plus years. She know her stuff.
And then Red State Golf, obviously. Red State Golf make these hats. We got to get you one of these. And
Please
Goated. And this, I thought it was a sleeping bag, but I guess it was just a special custom.
Oh, you funny.
Fleece made for Larry. This is a
Oh, this for
special
me,
size.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, this what's up.
So open that up,
Let's
Sean.
see what's up. Let's show the people. Let's see what they got for old Larry Love in here. Okay. Okay.
Hey, I like that. I like it.
Blessed Larry Love with a 3X fleece.
On up. I know they say fat boys got problems, but man, this fat boy ain't that big. You know what I'm saying, with the 3X.
And they got him a nice 3X polo too. So
And they got me a 3X polo.
big shout out to
I guess I
that's
better
nice,
bring
man.
sexy
Red
back.
I
State
like
and
that.
Goated. We got to get you one.
You
of these,
got to
Eric.
get me one.
We're
Listen,
gonna hook you
large.
up with Red State and
Large.
Goated.
Hook it up. Hook it
So
up.
we got you. We got you.
Hook it
I
up.
guess that's what's up. I gotta
Listen, I'll spread the
Hey,
word.
thank you, Goated. Thank you for taking care of me, and I make sure I sport it on one of these episodes for you. Make it look good for you. Make everyone want to buy it because it's some great material.
Yeah, people are waiting for Larry Love to rock the Goated on air. So now
I'll make it look good. Anything I wear, I'll make it look good.
back.
Oh, boy, here we go.
We'll get
Here we
Here we
go.
go.
That's
Here
just
we
the
go.
truth.
So, our special guest made a long drive today from Clewiston. Was that about an hour and change?
About an hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let Larry give you your introduction and your flowers as he brings you
Man,
in.
listen, he came on the show not too long ago when we was downtown Naples, when we was live. And I promised I was going to bring him back for a whole episode. This guy he come out of the muck of Florida.
Yep.
You know, running with them Clewiston Cougars, and then became a grown Tiger before he became a Hokie. You know,
What is a Hokie, by the way?
a
It's
loser.
a chance.
I
A winner.
always
What you
wa-
A
I always
Hokie is a
wonder
loser.
What is a Hokie?
Listen, we're not doing too well right now.
What's
but
a
we're
Hokie
coming back.
mascot?
No, I'm just gonna
It's
say
a- it's a-
1999,
it's a
baby.
turkey.
It's a
But it's a-
turkey.
yeah, but
a wild
turkey
Hokie
is more of a
Hokie
chant,
was
but
a
it's
turkey.
a turkey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think about it. He's a jive turkey. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A jive turkey.
I know the man knows how to play beamer ball, though.
Listen, you better believe.
Well, okay.
How many kicks you blocked? 4 in your career?
I don't know. Honestly, I think I'm second in school history.
Second
so I don't
in
know how
school-
many.
Which that says a lot. If you're second in school history at Virginia Tech in block kicks, because they are known for special teams.
Yep.
Well, they special
You
teams.
got to give them one thing. Virginia Tech special teams, beamer ball, always stood out.
Where were Beamer Ball in 1999?
You go,
That's all I'm saying. Where were Beamer Ball when it counted?
well, you guys had a little bit of
I
a
didn't
higher
ask you
payroll.
all of that. I didn't ask you all that. Where was Beamer
Payroll.
Ball in
Listen.
1999 when
Hey,
Florida
I
State
tell
came
you-
through the Sugar Bowl
I tell
and
you
did
what.
what we did?
Listen, but you
Well-
know what? That game right there, everybody. That's when they realized who Mike Vick was.
That was
Yeah. Now that's true though.
That's when they realized who Mike Vick was. So it's this funny Beamer Ball. It's a tradition. It's something that you look forward to. From day one when you get in there, it's like before you could play any other position, you are gonna.
So talk to me about that, because how does a coach or a school become so adverse and well known in a particular department, especially like special teams? Do they just spend more time on
You
it?
spend a lot of time.
More-
I mean, you start to practice with it, middle of practice, and you finish practice with
Okay.
it. And I think that
And they put their best players
yeah,
on
you
special
put
teams
you
too.
all starters are on. You'll see your starting tailback on kickoff. Yeah, I think that we can realize now that a lot of games are won and lost because of special teams, whether
That is
it's
true.
a drop punt or a block punt or a punt return.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't put much emphasis on it. I think they're doing it more now,
Sure.
but back then they didn't, and
He
we
was
put
one of the first
we
coaches.
put a lot of
Yeah.
attention on it.
And before we get into the political stuff and the inauguration, just take me through the recruiting process, because being from Clewiston, Florida, how do you end up at Virginia Tech? And which other schools did you visit? And how do you end up at a school like Virginia Tech?
Yeah, well, thank God I didn't have Twitter back then, so because I was committed to everybody.
Took 5 visits, 5 official visits.
I took
right?
5 official visits, but I was
And which schools did you take?
I went to. I was originally going to go to West Virginia. I was committed to West Virginia first. That was my first visit.
Okay.
I had another teammate of mine, Alfonso Marshall. He actually
When did you?
he went to the University of Miami.
Yeah.
But Alfonso was he was a great athlete. He was probably one of the fastest guys. He was the fastest guy in Clewiston history. But
And he made a good school choice.
yeah. Oh, he did. Well, we both took a visit to West Virginia. We went to. I went to. Where did I go next? I think I went to West Virginia, Virginia Tech, NC State, Indiana, and University of Miami.
You took an official.
I
to
took an
University
official
of
visit.
Miami.
Yeah, I took an official visit, and the week we went to Miami, they had like all the top recruits that week. So they, I think Jeremy Shockey was coming from a JUCO at that time. So
in
Jeremy
Oklahoma.
Shockey was there. Was the tall offensive tackle
Brian
McKinney, myself, Alfonso, Willis McGahee. There was quite a few of us.
So
over there.
obviously, seeing who was there at Miami, did you maybe not go to Miami because the competition? Not saying that you're scared away from competition, but looking for more maybe playing time and an opportunity.
Well, one, I think that needs to be a huge decision. I think a lot of kids make the decision to go places based off that team, and they don't pay attention to who's there, what position, what year the guys
gotta
that are
make a
there.
business
It's a
decision.
business decision,
Yeah.
and for me, to be honest with you, like even University of Florida was recruiting me. I never took an official visit because I knew they wanted me to play cornerback from the start, and I didn't want to play cornerback. I was like, nope, no point in me going because I don't want to just play corner. If you'll recruit me as an athlete, then I'll go.
Okay.
Because I want to play wide receiver.
Sure.
And so when I was at University of Miami, it was, they took us out. Back then, this was during the heyday of Miami. So Miami, we would go out. They took us out, and I mean, you would see the Dolphins guys stand in line, and the Hurricanes would go in before them.
They threw up that H.
I mean, it was unreal. And you know, they're taking us these places, and I'm looking at all these women and all this. I was like, Alfonso was like, man, I'm coming. I was like, dude, I'm not coming to school here. How could you even focus? You know, and I just wasn't used to the big city.
Okay.
And so for me, my decision was more based off, you know, man, I was from a small community, and that's kind of how I operate anyway. I'm a family-oriented person. If you're my friend or whoever you are to me, I'm very loyal to that, and I have to have a relationship. I don't want to do business with anybody if it's just business. I'd rather do business and have a relationship. And so when I went to Miami, it was one of those situations where it was like, man, this place is too much for me. It's like I can't focus here.
Wow, being that young and being able to see that.
And so
that's pretty
I
impressive.
actually committed to Virginia Tech on my visit to Miami.
Really?
I was at the Doubletree Hotel on the elevator when
Who
Charlie Wiles.
who was
Let me ask
recruiting
you
you at
something.
Virginia Tech? Who was the main coach recruiting you?
Well, Charlie Wiles was my recruiter. And he was the defensive line coach.
Okay.
But Lorenzo Ward was my DB coach, and he was
Okay.
one of the best ever.
Did Anthony have anything to do with it?
No,
Midget did?
Midget had nothing to do with it. No,
Yeah?
no. Midget and I were, you know, we all come from the same community. Philip Summers, who actually is he was there with Midget.
Yeah.
Philip he's actually the principal at Clewiston High School now.
that's what's up.
And Philip's mom and my mom were best friends, and so we grew up like brothers. And so that Philip probably had a little bit more to do with it, but honestly, it was that Virginia Tech was recruiting me as an athlete, and they were like, you can come here and play wide receiver for Mike Vick. I was like, I'm coming. So that really had more of an impact on why I made that decision. So it was like I said, the recruiting process. It's a rough one, man. At first, it was one of those deals where I was just this little skinny kid from Clewiston, and I remember like my sophomore year, we're in this semifinals, I think, playing against Pahokee, and obviously they had Anquan Bolden, who was Mr. Football, and
was he quarterback?
he was
at
a
high
quarterback.
school, right?
Yeah, he was quarterback and starting safety, and they had the whole world here to see him, and I was playing receiver at that time. And I remember going to my quarterback, was like, man, dude, I'm going to beat this corner on the backside, because the coach called a play that was supposed to go to the other side. But I was on the backside, supposed to run a dummy route. And I told him, I said, look, I'm going to fake here and I'm going to run a post because Anquan's paying attention to the other side. And I said, trust me. And he threw it to me. I made a diving catch on Anquan in the corner to win the game. And from that moment, probably a few weeks later, I got my first letter. It was from West Virginia. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to stop until I feel – I had a big box at the house. I said, I'm going to fill this thing up. And it was all I needed, for one person, one team to show attention. And they did. And it was on from there.
Can I ask you this question? You don't have to answer it, but were you offered money by schools to go to schools?
No.
No?
No, I was never.
What do you think about the whole system now with college athletes being paid?
I think it's ruined the game.
I agree.
I think the transfer
Absolutely
portal.
agree.
I think the transfer portal and the money. I think it all ties into politics, which we'll discuss later. It just teaches kids, if you don't like something, quit. And it's all about the money.
You're out.
Yeah, just quit. I don't like you. You know what? I'll go to your rival and come back to you.
Yeah.
It gives the player power over the coaches. And so when you have a player, that comes in there and he's driving a Ferrari or he's got a car that's more expensive. How do you coach that kid?
How do you coach him? And would you agree? I mean, you come from the bottom. You come from an area, rural area, and don't you think kids can lose motivation too if they're getting paid already in high school?
Absolutely. And
That's crazy.
But
I completely disagree.
I don't know if it'll lose motivation.
I know that's not right.
I think it's just, right now, the world that we live in, obviously what we can see, man, it's so, Satan has distracted people with shiny things. And shiny things get the attention of these young people.
Yeah.
Of anybody.
And when does it stop? Like I definitely think college athletes should get, especially with the football game. Get some royalties later on when you graduate. But it's absolutely out of control when you find out Ohio State's payroll is $20 million, and it's just going to, like Larry says, what goes up does not come down. So it's only going to keep growing and growing. So
yeah. Well, I think I think it should go to everybody. I think they should pay them all. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't create individuals.
Y'all crazy, man.
But you know what? If I got Larry Love getting recruited here, and they're going to pay him X amount of money to come here. I believe those guys in the locker room will work a lot harder knowing that this guy brought us some extra money here or something. I don't know. I just don't. Larry,
My talent is not your talent.
it's not.
My work ethic is not your work ethic.
That's right.
Everybody don't get the same.
No, I get
So
it.
if this person is more valuable than that person, his work should be paid for accordingly.
Yeah, but you
That's
make,
what I see, and that's the American way.
yeah, but did you know what? Go to the NFL for that.
Listen,
The NFL will
they
pay
gonna
you
get-
accordingly.
they
That'll
gonna
pay you
get
for
there.
that. Yeah.
They're gonna
Yeah.
get there. Look at the college, right? Let's just we talking about college. What jerseys do they sell? They sell certain individuals' jersey by bringing all that money. Let's talk about my tenure at Florida State. What jerseys was being sold? 16 and number 9.
Number 9, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They should
So-
get royalties once they
No,
graduate college.
So
after
while
the
they
fact.
in school,
Is a free education
why
worth
not
something?
free education?
Yeah.
Man, listen, I get at school $30,000. Just pay me my worth and my value because I'm bringing in 60, 70, 80, 90 million
What
to
if
that
they
school.
don't have that money to pay?
Nike gave Florida State football, just a football program, 60 mil. And guess who? Coaches got 5 mil. Assistant coaches got 700,000 and everything. Why the players can't get it? We the one that make y'all look good. Is you crazy? No. It's with any company. That's why they give out bonuses. If y'all reach certain quotas or whatever while you're working on the job and you're doing well, you get a bonus, right? They give employees bonuses usually at the end of the year. So why not give the same players that then gave y'all all this money, brought in all this money, those same bonuses? If that's the case, hell.
I'm not
Well,
saying
well,
not give
you know
them
what?
money,
If,
but
well,
I'm
you know, if you want to give them like that, if you want to give them bonus, let it be incentive based. You know what I mean? So if
You
if
perform-
so a
instead of
performance based,
coming to
yeah,
school,
yeah,
here's a new
yeah. But you
Bentley.
come here, all right. So like you said, at the end of the year, if this player, because right now you're saying if you have all this talent, you're the quarterback. You better believe your offensive line better be there to block for you.
You go to school, right? You go to college to do what? To make money, right?
Of course you do.
So let's just say you got a mediocre student. Why they always want the top tier? Why they're using top tier schools or top tier law schools? Why? Well, the person who excels.
Yes, of course.
Who gonna bust their butt.
Yeah.
They're not gonna let no mediocre kid go to this school or that school. Why? Because their work ethic. So they're gonna be rewarded. There's no difference. It's the same thing that's applying to sports. Picking it out, like it's so much different. Because why? Because so many people glamorize athletes.
But I think what Eric is saying, let these kids prove
Let
themselves
it be
in
proven
college instead of just dropping a
because
bag on them when they come in school.
A lot of times you pay a kid $2-3 million, they come in and they do nothing.
They've been duds.
We don't know that yet.
I know, but let them come.
but
Let them
it's
come
happened.
and earn it.
But listen,
It's
one thing
happened.
about a hustler, Lord knows, if they would have had that way back, they couldn't get me off no football field. They couldn't get me out no weight room. They couldn't tell me nothing because
no.
I see and I'm making money for what I love doing.
Of course.
Oh, God, I'm finna go extra hard. I'm
Yeah.
telling my nephew that I say, dude, but what
Okay.
you put in is what you could get out. I said, they just gave this quarterback $12 million in Michigan. Man, you better get out there and bust your butt
Yeah.
if that's what you like doing. And it's no different in the classroom.
But I mean, look, just talking about your area, Clues, these guys train all their life to play football, regardless of the case, right? By the way, did you ever chase a rabbit?
I did.
Okay.
I did it just because it wasn't something I did on a regular.
Yeah.
I did it because a group was going. I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I've done it a couple times, but
But these guys were just motivated to be able to get out, get the scholarship, then go on to the next level.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that you're throwing dollar signs now to go to a school is going to make them any more hungry or motivated. In my opinion,
It depends
that's
on
my
the kid.
opinion.
It depends on where the kid come from. Now,
Yeah,
a lot of
the
these
environment
kids,
is
a lot
a
of
lot
these kids that come out of suburban America,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
But if
Yeah.
you taking a kid that grew up hustling, even sneaking around selling dope and everything else, man, this kid finna like, oh man, I can make this. Oh yeah, man, I gotta lead that. I gotta constantly hustle hard so I'm able to get it.
yeah. But see, but like
And that's
like you
that
said,
hustle mentality.
So if it's gonna be that way, I think we could combine those two. So so if that
You can-
player,
you-
let's say, they're gonna give him $4 million or $5 million, you know what? You'd get that if you make these. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know,
if we sell your jersey, you're going to
yeah.
get a certain percentage of it.
Yes, we could do that. But also a guy like I can always remember Larry Fitzgerald. All right, and this is past college, this is in NFL. Larry Fitzgerald, if right after the game was over, Larry would sprint to the locker room every single time. He wasn't about the fan. He wasn't about. He was about strictly going in getting his job done and being and being out of there, you know. But one thing Larry didn't mess around with, because he had all these bonuses that he can get. If you get 100 catches, he get X amount of dollars. He get 1,000 yards, he get X amount. He would work his butt off to get that. You understand what I mean?
Sure.
So like we were saying earlier, you know, if a guy's going to get $4 million or whatever that is, let it be performance based. Once you get here and you do this, then you get the money. You understand?
Especially with the transfer portal, because you can go to a school, get X amount of dollars, then transfer next year because you don't, and then go to another. There's no.
So right now, if you come here and you don't put in the work, you don't get these stats or whatever we agree to, then you don't get it.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
But like I said, I just think that, you know, if they're going to pay, because the football programs. I remember when I went to Virginia Tech, I think we had like 18,000 undergrad or something like that. By the time I left, we were close to 30,000. You know, and people didn't come there because, you know, they loved the school. They were coming there to see Mike Vick. You know, we go out to eat and they see Mike Vick. They pass out like.
Talk to me about playing with. Did you play with you? Did you pass Vic or did you play with Vic?
I played with Vic.
You play with Vic.
I played with
Talk
Vic.
to me about that.
You
Playing
know,
with a guy like that. Do you know day one when you stepped on the practice field with him, you're like, oh yeah, this guy's something else. He's running a 4-2, playing the quarterback position, rocket arm.
Yeah. You know, Mike was he's different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he has there are certain people that have a certain spirit to them that are just, you know, when you're around them, they're just superstar status. And Mike Vick is one of those people. He's like a Michael Jordan. He's like a Donald Trump. You know, certain people just have a aura or something about them that's different. And Mike has always been that way. And I remember my first day walking in the locker room, he was like almost my height. I thought Mike was a lot taller, but he's not that tall of a guy. He's about 6'1.5" maybe. But I can remember Mike had this shoulder. He's like that wide. You understand? But on paper, there's a lot of people that look good. They run 4.3s and this and that. Mike Vick was that.
Good gamer.
And I remember how I wanted to find out how fast he was. Like, because
who's faster, D'Angelo Hall or Michael Vick?
Mike Vick.
Over D'Angelo Hall?
No, man.
D'Angelo Hall is football field speed.
No.
What's that?
He has field speed.
Listen,
It's different type of speed.
No, but D'Angelo was fast.
I'm asking who
He
would
would
run
run
a 40.
But no, D'Angelo could run a 40. On the field, Mike Vick
Michael
would run
had the
past
game
D'Angelo
speed.
like he wasn't
Game
standing there.
It's a different type of.
It is not. I'm telling you, Mike was one of those people that he could run 30 yards that way, 30, and then go 100 yards.
It was like a joystick,
and would not slow down.
Yeah.
And he could just sustain that speed for the entire time, you know. And Mike was different. You can't. There's nobody that has or ever that comes close to Mike.
Yeah. And so then
Mike
you
has
go-
a what?
As an athletic quarterback, as far as speed, vision, arm strength. Who are you gonna say?
Yeah,
Lamar
there's gotta be
Jackson.
some absolute-
No.
Who are you gonna say?
I don't know because Mike Vick was strong.
No, Mike.
He was strong,
No.
quick, elusive. Like,
There's not. I'm telling you.
yeah,
Listen,
I can concur with
Listen,
that.
I'm telling you, Mike Vick probably had a 44-inch vertical. I'm telling you, this dude was.
I don't know his vert.
No, I'm telling you.
You was there.
You
You
watch
saw
him work out, power clean. He was one of the most explosive people you'll ever see. I'm telling you, he's just built different. And I, like you said, you know, we get off the field. You know, defense. We didn't sit down. We're on the side. We're spectators now because we know he's gonna do something.
And then so you get drafted in the 3rd round by the Arizona Cardinals. I'm always fascinated. Take me through the process of you picking an agent out.
You know, I got to think back on this, but I know that, you know, the rules may be a little bit different now. But back then,
I don't think there's any more
you know, you couldn't, an agent couldn't talk to you during the season or anything like that until you were declared to go into the NFL.
Did Drew Rosenhaus try to sign you?
I was with Drew for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I fired my agent later in my career and hired Drew for a year,
Okay.
and then I went back to my agent.
Interesting.
Yeah, but
A lot of people do
Yeah.
get rid of it and then they hire Drew to
yeah,
try to get
you know,
him.
Drew's a you know, it's like hiring an attorney. You know, that attorney that knows that judge. You know, and Drew, you know, it's the
That's a great
truth.
analogy.
It's just the truth. Drew knows everybody, and he represents. Dude, half of the team is represented by Drew, so he has a lot of pull and connections. And but Drew is strictly business. You know, Drew's not a relationship type of guy. He just listen, all right, sign a deal. As soon as you sign it, Drew's gone. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, he's
You
just going to
understand?
negotiate.
No,
and that's
he's,
why what Edrin did, he was the first guy to do it and then started a trend. He hired Drew Rosenhaus and he said, okay, but I'm only going to pay you hourly.
Yeah.
Instead of you taking a percentage, you only get paid when you're negotiating and writing my contract.
Yeah.
And that started a whole trend.
yeah.
And the NFL got rid of it.
Oh, really?
They can't do that.
You can't
now.
do that anymore?
See, because if Drew got paid like that, he wouldn't have this much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Drew's going to go out. He doesn't just represent players; he represents coaches too, and we have to remember that. And so, but for me, making that decision to go with my agent was Doman and Pittman.
Okay.
And like I said, I'm more of a relationship type of person. And so when I declared I was going in, obviously, and I think we went to the Sugar Bowl that year, won the ACC championship. That was when my discussion started with them. And
Did the Postons recruit you at all?
no,
No? Okay.
I don't know who that is.
Okay.
But I made my decision fast. And once I made my decision that I was going with Doman and Pittman, it was over. So no one else had an opportunity to even have a discussion with me.
Okay.
And I still have a relationship with them to this day. Even their kids. I watched their kids grow up. I would go to their home in the off season. Actually, one of their kids, JoJo Doman, played safety. I think he was just released with an injury or something with the Colts. So yeah.
And then take me through because the draft has changed now. It used to be, day one, first round, second, third round, day one was rounds 1 through 3, and then 4 through 7. So that was take me through, because you were drafted round 3. So you were day one.
Yeah. Well,
It must have been a long day because.
Man, it was a long process.
Yeah.
Not just that day, but just the whole process going into it, because coming out my senior year, I was one of the top corners. I was coming out, and I was in the I was invited to play in the Senior Bowl. And once I went out to Arizona right after we played in the Sugar Bowl against Auburn, I flew out to Arizona. I trained out there. I ended up pulling my hamstring like a week before I went to the Senior Bowl. And so once I went to Alabama to Mobile to go play, I was trying to hide it, but
so that probably cost you a round.
Oh, it cost me a lot because here I am, especially at that time, I was in really good shape. I was doing my thing, and so I go up to the Mobile, and the first day we're out at practice. I'm obviously trying to hide it, but Gruden, Chucky was our coach. We had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers staff. I'm actually Mike Tomlin was my DB coach.
Wow.
In the Senior Bowl, and so we went through that whole process. But the first day, guy runs a slant on me and tried to like a double move, and I go to run, I pull it again. And the combine is the following month. So I went back out to Arizona, and I'm doing treatment after treatment after treatment. I'm like, man, I'm not ready for the combine. It was still pretty bad, and it was really bad actually. And so when I got to the combine, my agent told me, "Do not work out. They're gonna try to get you to do it, but do not do it," because he knew it was gonna hurt me. And my year was the year that, man, they started drafting people off straight 40 speed.
Oh yeah.
And we had corners. We had corners that people didn't even know that ran 4.3s, and they drafted them in the first round or second round.
Especially the Raiders. If you run a 4.3 or 4.2, you're
and they were one of the teams that did it.
Yeah.
And
Haywood Bay.
Yep.
It was a perfect example.
So they started doing that.
Yeah.
Y'all took a guy from Florida State.
Who's y'all? The Niners?
Yeah.
We took a guy from Florida State when
Off the track team.
Off the track team?
It was.
I know who you're talking about. He was a corner or a receiver, and he was just a track guy, basically.
Yeah. See, but that's what they started doing. And so, I get to the combine, and it is literally like it's a job interview.
Yeah.
Because even at night, you're not going to bed because you have interviews set with teams. So you may have a visit with the Raiders at 9:30. At 11 p.m., you have a visit with the Colts, and so you walk into these hotel rooms. You have to be dressed in a suit, just like a business interview.
Do you remember what you scored on the Wonderlic test?
I don't know. I can't remember, but I did well on it.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah. But and that's what a lot of people don't realize is like a lot of guys in the NFL are smart guys. Especially when it comes to these quarterbacks. They think it's just this. No, it's a lot of these guys are very smart people, and it takes it because it's a lot thrown at you at a very short time.
Man, I've seen a lot of dummies in the league, man.
Well, if they did, they were ran a 4.2 I promise you that. Hey, listen,
I was around a lot of dummies,
look,
man.
listen.
But
I'm,
I
not,
guess with
I'm not
anything-
talking about. I'm not talking about street smart or academic. Like I'm talking about football smart.
And there's
Oh,
a
yeah,
difference.
yeah.
Football
And
smart.
I don't mean this.
Oh, yeah.
Football
Frank
smart.
Gore.
Okay. Yeah.
Because Frank Gore wasn't the brightest tool in the shed.
And Frank
know.
Gore, one of my all-time football players.
What,
but
dumping in the box of rocks?
yeah, I mean, but from a football field stand,
Yep.
picking up blitzes, not forget the running
Yeah.
aspect of
Yep.
it. And because a lot of running backs can't make it in the NFL because they can't read blitzes.
Yep.
And he was tremendous. So football knowledge,
Yeah,
def-
but it's like let's say a kid in school that maybe struggles with ADHD or something, and that kid is all over the place and he can't study. It's a certain environment that you can put them in that they'll be able to learn and thrive in. And Frank Gore was a prime example, because if you look at Frank Gore, just looking at him, you'll know he's lost when you look at him. Because Frank, he gives you he just gives you this look. And
he had a learning disability.
But he
Hey,
did.
man, y'all need to stop, man.
But
Yeah,
I'm
learning
not.
this.
But I'm
Frank Gore
not.
is one of my all-time favorite.
Man, I
players.
don't.
Hall
But
of
you know
Famer.
what? I'm not making fun of him, but he's a great example of no matter what it is that you struggle with in life, if you find a way, man, you can be successful. And Frank is he's one of those guys. And I'm sure he's doing well in life, because it's like a head coach right now. They don't need these super smart head coaches. Sometimes you just need something shiny, like Deion Sanders, and he hires smart people around him.
And Frank Gore actually has a position in the 49ers front office department, so he's definitely doing well.
Stop it.
Leave Frank Gore alone.
Leave
And
him
then,
alone.
so
Hey,
you-
Di Bartello. Hey, y'all can come hire me, man.
well, that family. Well, I guess that family still does own the just.
Yeah,
not
y'all can
Eddie.
come hire me, please. I see. Apparently, y'all hire anybody.
Speaking of DeBartolo, no, that's another. No, we'll leave that alone. So you get drafted by the Arizona Cardinals, third round.
Yes.
4 years with the Cardinals.
Yep.
Even had a little stint with the greatest NFL franchise of all time, the San Francisco 49ers.
That's a lie.
You know what, man? It's pretty wild. And I think that I learned a lot through that process. Because I love the game of football. I played since I was 7 years old, and it was always my dream to make it to the NFL and to play. But I did it because I loved it. I never put an emphasis on money. I remember the first game we went to Arizona when we lost. We lost against the Giants, and I'm on the plane. I'm a sore loser. I don't lose well. And then one of the veterans goes, "Man, what are you worrying about? We get paid Monday. We get paid tomorrow.
Monday.
Monday.
All for Tuesday.
Every Monday we got paid." And I was like, and I just never understood it, because I never really cared about the money like that. It was just what I loved to do.
Who said that? I'm just kidding.
I won't say his name,
Yeah,
but
don't.
he didn't last that long. I can say that.
I believe that, yeah.
But that was the mentality of some of the people. It was just about the money, and it was never about money. Even to this day, life isn't about money for me.
But boy, you made it to get that pension, though, baby.
Yeah, I did. But you know what? I thank God for it. It gives me an opportunity to live a decent life. You know what I mean?
Life, yeah.
And football has blessed me to take care of my kids. But I tell you what, going through that process of after I left Arizona and then I went out to San Francisco and all this, it really taught me to be careful what you ask for. Be careful how you pray. And I'm not even like to this day, like now, man. I tell people, when you go to God, you better be specific. You better be straight on.
Say that again.
Because you may not like the way he deals and does it. And I remember, because when I left Arizona, I went down to Miami, and it's one of those decisions that I made it was out of character for me. I made the decision when I was a free agent to go with the Dolphins, and their system didn't work for me. It was something that I made a decision because I was like, man, it's close to home.
Be home.
And that's one thing. I've always been away, and I'm like, man, I could be right there at home. My family can just be right there. All my friends can come up. The community can come support me. And they brought me in, but they also brought in Vontae Davis and Sean Smith. God bless,
R.I.P. Vontae Davis.
Huh?
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. Vontae Davis. Yeah, man. And Vontae was a good dude, man. And like I said, I made that decision because of it wasn't football related. I wasn't really using my head, and so when I got to Miami,
So it kind of came full circle. You didn't go to the University of Miami.
Yep.
Because of
Yep.
even though it was close, because it.
Yep.
And then
I made the opposite decision. You understand? But it was the wrong decision.
Interesting.
You understand what I mean? It was wrong, and my way of thinking wasn't right. Listen to people who I shouldn't be listening to, and so when I got to Miami, I hated it. I didn't want to play football anymore.
Well, no, because the Dolphins are losers too. So that
But you know what? It's the the atmosphere is man. They call Vegas Sin City. Man, Miami is not cool. No, I'm serious. And
Man, you know I lived down there
it's
on
not
Brooklyn,
cool.
man. Like,
It's not cool. It's the players, man, they partying.
Yeah.
You just don't know it. They're partying. I remember when I was there. I won't say his name, but one of the DBs. He come here. We had a curfew. We were in training camp. We had curfew 11 o'clock, and come here. And I come over there. I look. He had somebody in his bed. I was like, who is that? How did he get a girl up here on this floor? And it was actually a little dummy that he made to make it look. So when they come checking room check, they thinking he's asleep. And they're going out. And they're out partying. And I'm like, man, this team's never going to win.
So you didn't see that in Arizona? Or
No,
other
man,
franchises?
no, absolutely not. And Arizona treated their veterans well. Like,
Ken was not was the coach?
Denny Green drafted
Denny
me.
Green, okay.
And then after Denny was there for 2 years, Ken Winterhunt came in, and that changed a lot too, because even the mentality was different. But they took care of the veterans. The older guys that were married and all this, man, they are family people. These guys had wives, and they were strictly with their wives. Miami was something totally different. You know what I mean? And I won't say too much more because I don't want to put anything to it. But it was just different, and so I hated it. And I was like, I don't want to be here. I don't. And then I'm just looking, everybody, like all this family that I came here for.
Yeah.
This was too much for me because it was like family that I didn't know I had. And I'm like, I don't even know these people.
Sure.
And so I remember my mom. I was home after one game. We played Jacksonville, and I just didn't want to be there. I didn't want to play, and I didn't want to say anything. And my mom came to my house, and she called me outside, and we were outside by the pool. And my mom goes, Eric, what's going on with you? You just don't seem to have that swagger. You're not having fun. Like, what's going on? I know something wrong. I know you. And I'm like, you know what, Mom? I don't want to play anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I hate it here. I said, look at all those people in my house right now. I said, I don't even know them, but I'm the one taking care of everybody. I'm paying for everything. Why has it got to be me? You know what I mean? I love helping people. It's all what I've always done, but I don't want to be taken advantage of. And that was when I first started noticing it. And it was painful because I don't know. So I told her that, and my mom said, well, you know what, Eric? Let's pray right now, and you're going to pray to ask the Lord to show you who's real and who's not. And I prayed right there. The next day, I got cut.
Wow. And how many of those people?
And I was shocked. I was like, what? What? But I was happy at the same time. Like, I was like
a sense of
I
relief
could not,
almost,
because the coach said, hey, bring your playbook. I've heard that to other people before, but I've never been borderline of getting cut. So my pride was hurt, but when I got in the car, I was so relieved. And by the time I pulled off the facility, my agent was already calling me. Oh, we got Chicago, Seattle, San Fran. I said, we're going to San Fran. Same division as Arizona. I get to play, you know what I mean? And so I said, we're going to San Fran. A few hours later, I was on a flight heading to San Francisco. And when I get to San Francisco, I was there for a few weeks. I learned the cornerback position, the nickelback position, the safety
Joseph,
position.
the DB coach there when you were there?
Yes. I learned 3 different positions within a couple weeks. And for people to realize that's kind of difficult because you have to learn their lingo. You have to learn the language.
Yeah.
It's like yes in English, C in Spanish, and not only that, you have to learn the system. When one person moves, things are changing. NFL's, it could be complicated.
Absolutely.
But I did, and we went to, I remember we played in Dallas. It was the first time when they just built that stadium. And I went out there and I graded high. I graded high, just about higher than everybody else in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And a few days later, hey, Eric, bring your playbook. What? And I go up and Coach Lott, I go up there and I say, yes, sir. He's like, I said, Coach, can I ask you a question? I said, why are you letting me go? I think I did well. I graded higher than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I learned all these positions just in a few weeks. He said, Eric, to be honest with you, I don't know. Only thing I can tell you is maybe you just weren't with us.
Yeah.
He said, maybe you just weren't with us long enough. And I was like, okay, well, thank you. Thank you for everything. I fly back home that night. I remember coming in, I'm pulling into, I live in the gated community, pull up to the gate, and the lady goes, boy, you are parked at your house. I was like, what are you talking about? She was like, oh, you don't know. You'll see when you get there. And I remember pulling up, and it was my cars in their yard, but other cars. And I was like, and I had all these friends in the house and girls everywhere. And I was like, everybody out now. And I remember my electric bill was like $1,800. It was something I could just tell something been going down. And I just, from that day, when I stopped that, everybody disappeared on me. You know, besides like my family, you know, my brothers and stuff like that. And it's just, everybody was gone.
Yeah.
And that's when it really hit, you know what I mean? And the depression and everything else that comes with it all came with that, you know what I mean? And people don't know what that feels like, you know, when all your life growing up, you want to help others. And that's still who I am. I just help in other ways, you know what I mean? And I was given wrongly. You know, I was enabling people, you know, and all those people left me. And so now, you know, I have a whole different way of seeing things, but I also have a whole different family and a whole different family of friends.
Well, let's transition to how you got involved in politics, and also talk about, I see you fly young gentlemen up at the inauguration this week, right?
Yeah, this week.
Monday.
Yep.
Talk to us about that, being up there.
Man, that was an amazing experience.
Was Larry Love the best dressed person in D?
Listen, he just want me to toot his horn right now.
No,
We're going to talk about
I'm
this.
asking for a friend.
Listen, well, I'm going to tell you right now. Big Boy came through. I'm going to be honest with you. He was.
I had random, but people were texting me, hey, is that Larry Love with my friend? Sending me pictures. Yep, that's.
Dude, you would have thought he was the president's son. I think he got more attention. The only person that got more attention than him was Barron. I'm telling you, Larry lit it up. I'm going to be honest with you. He lit it up. And I sat there and I looked like this. And I'm thinking, all these people walking, I'm thinking they're looking at me. They're looking at this big black chocolate bar back there behind me. Hey, Big Boy. And he wore white, so he's over there in white too. I was like, man. But you know what? Larry did.
Yeah.
He did. And I promise you, he represented right. Because I don't think there was a person that walked by that didn't know Larry or Larry knew them. You understand? He literally talked to every single person that came by.
No matter who it was.
No matter who it was. Black, white, purple, blue, big, skinny. It didn't matter.
Yep.
He spoke to everybody. He talked to everybody.
Was that the first inauguration you were at?
Yes, it was.
When did you get involved in politics?
To be honest with you, 2016 was my first time ever voting.
And you voted for
Trump. He's the only president I ever voted for in my life.
Okay.
I didn't know much about it at that time. You know, I just it was one of those things where him and Hillary came, and you know, usually the African American community goes with Democrat, and they would say, "Oh, did they start saying Trump's a racist?" And and then it made me start paying attention. And I said, "Well, let me find out." And I was like, Trump used to be the man. Everybody loved him before, but why is
he hanging out with Jesse Jackson and Mike Tyson?
Yeah. So I started doing my own research, and I started doing that. Then I got a little bit obsessed with it, and I really wanted to pay attention. So I've always wanted to be one of those people, because they'll tell you if you don't vote, you're hurting, and I think that's wrong. That's not. I don't believe that's true. I think if you vote uninformed, then you're hurting.
That's a good point.
And so that's when he was the first person I voted for. But when I really started diving into it was this past April 30th. I was home, and I was sitting on my couch, and I was talking to God, like just having a normal conversation like this. And I said, Lord, you know, what's my purpose? You know, I'm looking at my community. I'm looking at these kids, even kids in my community are getting involved in gangs. And, you know, so many of these young people that I know personally are getting kicked out of school. And it's like, I can't do anything to help them. Mm-hmm. You know, once you get caught with a gun and you know, you're doing things like this, it's like, what can I say? And so I was like, you know, Lord, I just feel like I'm supposed to be doing something on a larger scale. Like, I just don't think what I'm doing is enough. And that was when, you know, God spoke to me at midnight that night and he said, you're going to save the nation. I said, what do you mean by that? You know, and that was all I heard. And now I'm up to 3 o'clock in the morning, like, feel like I'm losing my mind because I want to know more. And the next day, I went to go play golf. I was invited to play golf in West Palm Beach, and I get over there, and I played with a group of guys. But one of the guys that were there was Jimmy Wahlberg, the actor Mark Wahlberg, his brother Jimmy, and from the Wahlberg Foundation. And it was cool seeing him, but I ended up linking up with some other people that were there that day. And so the next night, midnight again, he shows me more. And then he speaks to me, and I hear the Lord say that Biden's not going to be the president. And I sat there, and he said that they were going to use a black female, and they were going to try to create a division and start a war between black and white. And then there was also going to be an attack on men, trying to create men and women. And so I shared this with my mom and certain people. I shared it with my kids too. And I don't know why I started sharing it. But I just started telling them what was happening. I said, Mom, this is what it is. And my family is strong Democrat. My mom, when the look or the sound of Trump's name would make her vomit, you know? And so I shared that, and probably a few weeks later, Trump was shot. And my mom is looking like this. And so anyways, I just continued to, like I said, talk to people and do this. And next thing you know, that those guys that were there at that golf trip, they called and invited me, to come and visit their company, K-12 Print. And they asked me, would I want to take a visit? I said, sure. I was kind of confused, like, why do you want me to come? Like, I'm just, I don't have anything involved with printing or anything like that. Well, as I go to drive over there, the Lord really started to talk to me about some things. And he told me that we're going to partner with the President of the United States.
So the shirts that you had made.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's how that started. And so from that point on, it just, I just became on this mission. And there was a lot more that God started to show me when it comes to that and just what Trump was standing for and what we were fighting against. And the real scary part for me was he showed me what was going to happen if he didn't.
Sure.
And that's why I was so motivated to make sure that it didn't happen. And so I traveled from state to state, many of the times alone, and not knowing anybody.
Were you a part of the Trump campaign
No.
officially?
No, I was not. No, it's kind of sort. I'll just say that out. But I wasn't. I wasn't paid by the. No, I wasn't paid by the Trump campaign. Nothing like that. I had access to go to places and things like that.
Is that how you met Larry, or you guys knew each other?
No, Larry and I knew each other, but I ended up actually running into Larry.
It was at charity event in LaBelle.
Yep.
And I just said, man, let's link up sometime. Yep. Then we bumped into each other. I was on my way to Mar-a-Lago, but I stopped in Harlem for they was talking about the what's that fake
Project 2025.
Project
it was a community.
25.
It was a community meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And some dude was getting all mild, they telling lies, and I told him what's up. Yeah. I said, man, I challenge you all day on that Project 25. I said we go toe to toe, but he didn't want that smoke.
But it was good to see because I've been very loud and vocal, and I stand by what I believe in, and it wasn't easy because a lot of people would attack me personally for my political beliefs. Sure. And I align my political beliefs with my religious beliefs, and I challenge everybody else to do the same. Well, Trump's a this and he's a this, and I said, you're talking about someone's personal sin. We all are sinners. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But when you take that and you put that into policy, that's when there's the problem. Mm-hmm. You understand? So if you're okay with transitioning children and all of this, then you know what? Maybe you're not what you say you are.
What would you guys say are the three biggest reasons why Kamala and ultimately the Democrats not only lost this election, blew this election, and the party has fallen apart? But if you had to point to three factors, three reasons, because I think the transgender one is a big one. What would you say in a nutshell?
I know for a fact the black community stayed home, and the other part of the black community voted for Trump.
Yes.
Okay, but I'm asking you for three reasons.
You asked for three. I'm trying to give it to you. They wasn't with her. They didn't believe in her. So it's like, if
why?
you don't. First of all, she said she was part of the same administration. Upon that administration, they became more impoverished. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. On top of that, the black community really is not a big pro-gay and all that type of stuff, period. 100%. So, and with all that type of stuff that was going on, and even with the school systems, they just like, she's not it. Mm-hmm. She's not it. And so, and that's one of the biggest thresholds the Democrat always have counted on. Mm-hmm. So you lose a large percent of your base that always have been with you. And of that large percent of the base, part of that base went to the other side, which that's like a double whammy.
Talk to me about, and I want to get why you think the Democrats lost, but watching President Obama lecture black men in Philadelphia for not voting for Kamala or voting for Trump.
Well, one, I would say that,
I think authoritarian on.
And I think, at that time, black men especially started like we started questioning things. You know, we started looking at Trump.
They don't like that.
And so when they brought Obama in to come and scold us and tell us black men were offended, I know I was, and I know a lot.
It's not even. It's you got that right. What's even funny, because on top of that, you know, when Obama first got in office, he did more stuff for the gays and the Asians than anything.
That's it.
So we don't forget none of that. Like, what did you do for us? And then when you start thinking about, man, Trump freed more people than you do. And you supposed to have minority relations. How Kendrick Lamar say?
I mean,
you're not like us.
You got people like Harry O and Jay Prince come out and said, and they're pretty much supporting Trump because, like, look at the prison reform and the people he let out that Obama did not.
And I'm not even forgetting the big names.
Because
I was in the gutter. Like, when I say I'm in the gutter, I was in the gutter supporting Trump throughout these cities, the Milwaukee's, Detroit's, Cleveland. Like, well, the South Republican Party won't even go, and which really pissed me off with the RNC. Like, man, if you're gonna make a difference, you got to go in the lion's den. You got to go, and it's about getting 1 out of 10. That's 10%.
Well,
that changed any election.
You went to Philly and Cleveland on the bus tour, right?
Listen to me. We did. I said the RNC. They didn't do that. Again, black people supported Trump. They did not support the RNC. They didn't support the Republicans. And today, I still say they so damn stupid. Because you got to be able to read the room. You got to see what's going. Trump opened the floodgates. Trump opened the door.
Opportunity.
Now, if you're going to let that door close, again, and I'm constantly trying to tell them.
It could close quickly if you don't.
Oh, it's closing.
Well, see, I'm going to tell you right now, but see, this is no longer the Republican Party. This is a new party. See, this is the party that I want to be a part. This is the new Trump party. This is something new. And as far as
if Trump take his hand off it, it's over.
But see, that's why now it's important that we go out and continue to start something else because Byron Donalds is going to be the next one. And we'll get there later. You know what I mean? We'll get there later because God was dealing with me coming here with Byron, and there was some things that he started to talk to me about.
It's funny. It's all kind of intertwined because Diane Harris, who thinks the world of you, she was a big supporter of Byron's first run, and I see a lot of Byron in you too. So it's all connected.
No, but Byron
is the future.
Byron is the future.
Absolutely.
And so, it's funny because when I saw Larry, when I ran into you at that event when Eamon said, "Hey man, this Byron's boy." Eamon knows how I felt about Byron. You know what I mean? I've always spiritually seen Byron in a certain way, and I'm like, and I would tell my mom, and I'm like, this dude here is gonna be the future country. I'm telling you, I don't know how, but this is what God is showing me about him. You know, and so. My friend Eamon knew Larry and Byron, so he's like, "Hey man, this Byron's boy." Hey, and that was when me and Larry connected the first time. But just to kind of rewind a little bit, because you were saying like, what are the things that three big reasons? One, I believe the border, immigration. Immigration was so big, and especially when they started treating the African American community in Chicago. That's really when it went.
New York,
it went crazy because the people in Chicago.
It was different in Chicago and Detroit.
It was. You know what I mean? And when they started doing that, and them people were standing up, and nobody was being hurt, and all the resources was going there, and I'm like,
I never heard so much vulgar language in a political atmosphere like I heard in Chicago and Detroit, even on the news. It's like, and man, when they started referencing the Democratic Party, it was horrible. And now these people that have been voting Democrat forever.
Forever. I mean, Chicago don't get more Democrat than
now. And this is what I was trying to tell them. When we on south side of Chicago, I mean the true south side, I was like, this is when the RNC need to come put money and they can change this. If you take 10, you can easily get 3 out of 10. You send the right counterparts in there. You easily get 3 out of 10. Easily. But again,
can I play devil's advocate?
Go ahead.
I would never, nothing to do with the RNC, but maybe they figure Chicago is such a rigged system. Why put the resources in a city like Chicago?
It's not about putting the resources in Chicago.
Just talking to the people.
It's about going to directly. You're going directly to the source.
Not about the volume.
But that's why Trump. That's why Trump
start
went
laying
there.
the bricks.
Trump walked into the lion's den.
Listen,
you got to be willing to do that.
Yeah.
It's just like Larry said. They were going into the lion's den. It takes boldness to. listen,
And we love that.
especially black. I was just about to say,
We
black
love
people
that.
respect boldness. You understand? The Democrat Party, that they'll send a token guy like Barack Obama to come in and try to give you a soft pitch.
And we see
we're,
through
we're,
that.
we're past the pimp talk.
Yeah.
You know, now it's about action. So I believe now this is a prime example. That's the next move that I'm working on. That's why even with Byron coming, I'm telling you now, I don't need any money from, but I'm going to throw everything I can for Byron. And I think it's going to be people like myself, people like Larry, just I would say outsiders that are going to be effective by traveling and going into the Lion's Den. Because when it came to Trump, man, I wore this stuff every single day, everywhere, and people would get mad, and then they would say something. I had a lady say, "I don't like your hat." I was sitting there eating breakfast, having coffee. And I said, "Ma'am," she said, "I don't like your hat." I said, "Okay, well, let's talk about it." No, you can't say that. You're wearing a Dolphins hat. I didn't say I don't like your hat.
Right.
If I say that, I'll give you a reason why. And so I said, well, let's at least have a conversation. Tell me why. And no. I said, are you a Christian? Yeah. And I started asking, and then, man, listen, she sprinted out of there. But she was the one that sprinted. But the others stood and talked. And I was really shocked with what I realized, because I was worried about Gen Z. I was like, man, this generation might be, you know, it's like Kamala called them stupid. You know,
That's what changed that too.
I thought so, and those I'm actually feeling like the future's bright right now because they shocked me. They were the ones, even with the black kids, like African, they were the ones that when I had more success with talking everywhere.
Man, you got to understand.
I was really
like,
impressed by that,
especially with the Gen Z. Everybody was with Trump. Everybody they look up to, and everybody they like. All the entertainers and everything else. And they know Trump didn't give a darn. Trump said whatever out his mouth. Yeah. That's them Gen Z cats.
Yes.
You know, they're like,
for sure.
And then
I rock
I think
on.
that him getting shot, and then him going on Rogan, you know, a lot of different factors.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think.
But you know what, man? And this is what I realized. You know what impressed me so much about Trump, and I admire it, to be honest with you. And it's, you know, I love strength.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And there's nothing, I love a person that's just gonna stand boldly. Listen, even if you don't like me, but if you can you can tell me and I know where you stand, I'll respect that. You understand? Because that's showing strength.
Mm-hmm. And I like you, Eric.
Yeah, but you know, but a guy like John, you got to think about it. There is not a person in this world that's ever survived the power of the mighty United States government.
Yeah.
If the United States government wants you, you're dead. You're gone.
You done.
You're
dead in the
You
wall.
can't tell me God's not keeping him alive.
There's not
I
a
just
person in this
refuse.
world. They can go find you over on the other side and you're dead. There's not a person in this world that's ever survived the United States government. And that man it was what? Impeachment,
Bogus trials.
bogus trials, lawfare, trying to kill him a couple times.
Yeah, that we know of, yeah.
Dude, we're up there at the inauguration, and I'm telling you, Larry would call me, "Hey, you going to the rally?" I said, "Nope." No. I said, "I'm not." I said, "Dude, I'm not." Listen, Trump and his supporters. I said, "Dude, that's a target,
Bro."
I said,
I heard
they'll be just.
I heard for the first time
let's kill
Secret
somebody.
Service had like anti-drone things on the
Stereotypes, like, you know, we on the radio or whatever, podcast. You know, us black folks, we scary.
What?
But if there's a possibility of something that can happen, we get a little scary.
Yeah.
water and dogs.
Listen.
Water,
Hey,
dogs, trees,
Listen, it don't matter.
anything that can go wrong. Nah, we don't want no parts of that, partner.
Larry called me earlier in the morning. Hey,
dog.
What the deep voice? Bare white voice. You going to the rally? I said, no. Man, I'm not listening. I said, Larry, I'm not doing it.
I said, man,
Bear, huh? I've heard you've been given that nickname, Bear.
No, it's not Bear.
It's a fucking bear.
That's the name. It's an effing bear. That's how you
Heard
say
that.
it.
All right. And yeah, I think you supporting Byron, I mean, and working with him is a stupid question. Is Clewiston Byron's district?
For what?
Congress?
No. That's stupid.
Who okay, because
Clewiston is.
It's
Clewiston's Byron?
I thought,
No, then he was ran for State House.
That's right.
But congressional, I think that's Stubby.
Okay, because I see you following the same path as Byron, state rep and Congress.
I'm supporting.
I'm behind you 100%. Not that my means anything. Larry's does, but not mine. But
no,
I'm calling it right now.
Okay, well,
We called it with Byron earlier. He early on, but Larry called it 2010 or 11. I was a little bit later on, but because even before Byron got into Congress,
but that's his dream and that's his vision and that's his calling. That's what God has for him. I don't ever want to shut anything down because Larry mentioned
never closed it.
You know, he said something to me and Clueless and like, so what would you? And I said, I'm not a politician, man. Oh, you're gonna, you know.
See, the thing is,
just
like,
say
man,
not at this time.
Yeah.
I said that same thing to Tim. Don't say that.
You can't get out of your calling and what God have for you, because anything you do, it just won't succeed or you won't be able to rest. Man, don't you know I wanted to be the next Thurgood Marshall. I wanted to be the best civil rights attorney the world has ever seen. You know, I wanted to challenge the Supreme Court and everything like Thurgood. You know, he went before the Supreme Court 32 times and won 29. I mean, that'll never happen again. I mean, it's hard just to get into that first time. So, like, and God didn't see fit. So it's like a lot of other things. It's like even when 2007, when I got double master's, like I even didn't know why I got a master's degree in divinity as well. And like, you don't never know what God has in store for you. And then next thing you know, 12, 13 years, well, I don't know how long, 17 years later, 16, I end up giving a sermon. So it's like, it's crazy. You know, our plans is
not always God's plan.
God's
plan always makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
but it's also his timing. But I think right now, Larry, to be honest with you, and even all of this, I think that your ministry is different.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I'm a people's person.
Yeah, and so that's
It's
your
like,
ministry. We all have different parts.
It's crazy because, like, man, it don't matter who I come across, like, my impression, I just leave an impression on people, and people just love me, my aura. I don't know, you know, but
it's like Rick James has got aura about him, you know.
But you know what, man? It's what it's about now. It's about community and building a community and people. Listen, I said it before last time I was on the podcast. I said, not all my people look like me. You understand what I mean?
I do.
And that's
this
what
dude
it's
don't
about.
look nothing like me.
Hey, but you know what? My brother, listen.
And
but
that's
you know
my
what?
people.
You understand? And now it's about building a web of relationships, man, and locking arms and helping each other. A lot of times we'll watch people come from, let's say, India. You know, it's a big copy because a lot of they'll come over here and they open up business and they become successful. A lot of times they move it right into the black community.
In the hood.
And they're successful right away because you know why? When they come in, they have a community already that's established. They have someone that's there that's already, that they come live with. They can get a loan or whatever because they have this person to back them. You understand what I mean?
Jewish people are like that too,
a lot. But and that's what we have to do. We have to build a community that can support each other and help each other out. Because at the end of the day, man, that's what it's about. We're gonna all leave this earth one day, and the big question is, when we leave, what impact are we gonna have? Was it just with this people or that people, or is it with a broader group? And I just believe right now that we're connected arms, and it's just like when we went up to the inauguration, like I told you, Larry talked to every single person that was there. And one big person that was, go ahead.
No, go ahead. And we got to roll into
okay, no,
quick game.
That's
but,
fine.
One person that you met at the inauguration, you're like, man, that's a cool cat right there. One person. No explanation needed. Or you can, couple words.
Nobody to me. I mean,
one guy stood
okay,
out.
well, I can say this
Kid
here,
Rock
right?
was
I can
cool.
say this here, right? True story. Eric right there, right? I mean, like, I know I was asked, like, man, you want to take a picture with Nelly and Jason Aldean? I'm like, no. Ask them, do they want to take a picture with me?
Yeah, he did.
And they said no, right?
I don't know what they said. But then, Kid Rock came over there and, like, he
came right.
Yeah, he gave me some pound. But I said, like, this year, like, man, my whole everything about me just shifting. Like, man, I want to try to now just promote and try to be around so many regular individuals.
Yeah.
And like, now I will say this: one person you said, like, and I just love her to the life. And she's a colleague, and that's Lisa McClain. She's a congresswoman.
Okay.
I always love Lisa. She's fun, out of Michigan. She's just so full of life, full of energy, and she's down by day one.
A story, and he gave me a story. He never listens to me.
The one person for me was, it was something about her spirit, but also her husband, because he was the one that took the photo for me, was Riley Gaines, the NCAA swimmer.
Mm-hmm.
It was something about her spirit to me that was just she's a solid individual. Now I don't know much about her, but she was. I
She's
know.
got good vibes. Good.
Yeah,
good
man,
feeling
and
from
they
her.
were just. I don't know. It was something about them.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we got this little game called Rapid Fire, Eric. Yeah, pick one or the other. You pick both. We call you a Democrat. You certainly don't want that. So, going to be some tough choices here: sports, music, and other stuff related. Ready? You ready for the standard one?
Jay-Z or 50 Cent?
50 Cent.
My man. Boys in the Hood or Menace to Society?
Boys in the Hood.
Pusha T or Styles P?
Styles P.
Ooh, Virginia's going to be mad at you. Eve or Foxy Brown?
Foxy Brown.
American Gangster or Training Day?
Training Day.
Casino or Goodfellas?
Casino.
My man. Tucker or Hannity?
Tucker.
Near perfect score, Larry. Biggie or Pac?
Tupac.
Eminem or Kanye West?
Kanye.
I agree. Governor Scott or Governor DeSantis? Better governor.
He really wasn't into politics.
But
Okay,
I know
fair enough.
Scott. I'm gonna go with Scott. I knew enough.
I
Scott.
know enough. Okay, my bad. I'm
Scott.
sorry.
Yeah, you good?
You ready for this? This is a hard one. Fred Taylor or Edgerrin James?
Edgerrin James.
That was his teammate. That's not fair.
It's more than just teammate.
Malcolm X or MLK?
Malcolm X.
Agree as well. In-N-Out Burger or Fat Burger?
In and out.
And you say Michael Vick's greatest Vatek athlete of all time. Number 2, would you say Bruce Smith or D'Angelo Hall or Cam Chancellor?
Bruce Smith.
Larry Fitzgerald or Randy Moss?
Larry Fitzgerald.
Of course.
Man, y'all tried my homeboy.
What?
Y'all tried most.
Clay and Buck or Mark Levin?
Buck.
Great job. And then the last one, Trick Daddy Dollars or Rick Ross? Finish strong. Be an easy one, but
Trick.
I want to buy me a
I think
Benz,
you
but
got-
I'm 50 grand
I think I
short.
literally agree with everyone on there with you. So
Yeah.
just such a
Yeah.
pleasure having you on, man.
Yes.
Big things coming for
Yes.
you. I could see God's got a plan for you and a bright future.
For sure.
We really appreciate you
Yes.
making the drive, having us on,
And-
be on many more times.
And this episode was brought to you by the great Martin Law Firm. Thank you all.
Newest sponsor.
Oh, yes, definitely one of our newest sponsors as well.
So if you're getting a divorce,
Oh, my God. See, I don't know nothing about all that divorce stuff. So, Patrick, if you're getting a divorce or any type of law that you want to have,
divorce, probate, trust,
wills, yeah.
yeah,
Y'all go
the
see
Martin
them.
Law Firm, our guy Steve Martin, and thank you to Tim Jarrett, studio coming together.
What Triple G at?
The Triple Dippers.
What a Triple
behind the
G at?
scenes. The Triple Dippers said, you know what? No more Mr. Nice Guy 239 Uncensored's back.
Tim
He's
coming at your
calling
throat.
out. If you try Tim, he's got a microphone and he's coming out strong. So 239 Uncensored tomorrow. Dan Colwall in the building. Well, look out because Tim's not holding back. And you know we roll with Tim G.
Hey, and can I say something before I go?
Absolutely.
I really think, and I know eventually you'll probably have her on and have her to come down. Is one person I want to really give a shout
Michaela.
out. I got to give a shout out to Michaela Montgomery. She was a real
Chick-fil-A girl.
That's
yeah,
what you
Chick-fil-A
said
girl.
yesterday.
Yeah, I really want to give a shout out to her because I'm telling you, she is a special gift. I believe she's going to be a powerhouse. I believe, honestly, I don't know why, but I feel that she's going to come down and she'll have something to do with Byron too.
If y'all haven't seen her, she have opened up several rallies for the great president, Donald Trump.
Yes.
She's a young black girl, about 27, 28 years old. 28 years old, single mother, You know, went to school, everything else. She pushed hard, believe in the conservative principles, and she will go toe to toe
Anybody.
with anybody, however you want it.
And what I'll say is this: is one thing I noticed, especially this week when we were there, and she took care of Diane and a lot of other people. I think she worked harder than anybody I've ever seen. I've never seen
Her
a
work
person.
speak for her.
She is. If she says she's going to do something, she's going to get it done. And one thing that I really love, because she's a collaborator. She brings people together. But one thing I noticed is, and I told her, and she started getting a little bit emotional. I said, Michaela, I just really appreciate you, but I'm gonna tell you what I noticed. You treat the lowest like the highest.
You got to.
You understand?
She
She treated the people that had the least like the greatest. You got to understand, she was there with some millionaires and billionaires, and she treated the smallest, as Diane, she treated the smallest person just as they were the biggest. She didn't prioritize anybody, and she made sure everybody was good. And one thing I say, I watched her do a podcast, and she'll hit you without you knowing you were hit. She'll knock you out. You'll wake up and think you just got a good rest of sleep, not even know you were hit. You understand? And what she did, I saw her on a podcast with a woman, and she tore up, but she did it with grace, and still at the same time she uplifted her. You know, you find a lot of these, especially like in the black community, we find a lot of them that will criticize, let's say, the black community, but then won't get an answer or show a solution. It's like whipping your child, but not telling them that you why, and then also telling them that you love them. You understand what I mean? So I just wanted to give a shout out to Michaela. I know you guys will probably have her in soon.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Just wanted to do that.
And we got to wrap up, but such a pleasure having you on.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And episode 33 in the books.
33 in the books.
33 and counting.
It's been fun. We got to
Absolutely.
run. See you on another one.
All right, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you, guys.
Got to do a pick.
Yeah, we got to